Today we're going to talk about goals. I'm not a big fan of New Year's resolutions, but I am a big fan of the fiscal year and what it can do for us is a reset. Okay, January 1st, you're the same person as you were December 31st, but at least you have like a fiscal reset of, okay, in the year 2020, I am going to blank. So I think the first thing that needs to be noted about goals is we tend to, overestimate what we can do in 1 year. Right, so we're going to overestimate what we can do in 2020. But the funny thing is we also tend to underestimate what we can do in 5 years. So it's like, hey, I want to make $1 million in 2020. Okay, great, that's a great goal. But don't forget about your 5 year. I think the 5 year is a lot more important because then that causes you to go 1, and then to year 2, 3, 4. So this gives you like a longer path, especially for small business owners in general, like you guys are your own business as far as commission salespeople go. So let's take our 1 year with the vision of building it in 5 years. So everybody think about, okay, so let's say it's 1/1/2020. Where were you in 1/1/2015? If you can imagine what you were doing, how old you were, what you were making, and then you fast forward to now, typically what you're going to find is if 2015 you saw 2020 you'd probably be blown away at the growth that you've had. Maybe you've had kids, you've bought your first house, maybe your first investment property, maybe you bought your first car, you got out of debt, you fixed your credit, whatever. In that 5 year span, think about that power. In 2015, I think it was maybe me and Autumn and an assistant, and now there's 11 of us. So for me to go back from 2015 to now, it's pretty amazing. So you should do your 1 year and a 5 year goal is what I'm getting at here. And there's it's called BHAG, so big, it's hairy, it's an audacious goal. So you should stretch your mind. So that's like ultimately what you're doing when you're making goals, is if you're thinking about it, it's not real. But the second that you write it down, you brought it into our universe, into our world, and you just made that real. So you should make your goals big, hairy, and audacious, right? It's always better to fail high than it is to fail low. If your goal is to make 60,000, you make 58, like that's great. You didn't quite hit it, you were 2,000 off. But what kind of actions would you take if your goal this year was to make $600,000, right? And you failed and you made 150. See the delta or the difference between those is make it bigger, make it uncomfortable. You don't necessarily need to have it all make sense right now. You think about it, you make it nasty and big, and then you write it down, and then you write it down every morning and every night, and that allows your brain to start working through how this is going to happen. You don't have to know everything up front, but that would be my encouragement for everybody as we enter 1/1/2020. Don't make New Year's resolutions. Make a 1 year that's tied to a 5 year. Make it way bigger than what you could mentally comprehend. And then write it down every morning and every night. And then watch what happens when you fast forward to 2025. And this is going to be a way bigger delta than this. You can only do so much in a year, but you can do a heck of a lot in 5. So write your goals down, not on January 1st, But on January 1st in the morning, in the afternoon, on January 2nd in the morning, in the afternoon, morning, evening, morning, evening, forever. This should be something that becomes part of what you do. Put it on your calendar, set reminders on your phone, whatever you got to do, make them big and make them often. You guys have any thoughts?
I like it.
I think it's a good exercise to go back. Where was I?
Yeah, I like that.
January 1st of 2015.
Yeah.
I mean, I never think like that. Like 5 years ago, I had no clue what my life was doing.
Let's all do that. So, who was I
Should we record this?
in 2015? That's the exercise. Who was I in 2015? Mm-hmm. Spend 10 minutes. And think about that and think of where you are in 2020. Good?
Good. Happy New Year, everybody.